All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is September 16th. We have a 10-game MLB slate to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, when we go through each and every one of these games, I'm going to give you my lean on the side. I'll give you my lean on the total. We'll talk about any other plays, like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, all of my final plays, if you do want to fade me, all of my final plays, so what I'm rolling with myself, will be listed in the pinned comment. We don't have a recap from yesterday because there was no MLB yesterday. There we had kind of a 500-day in football. But yeah, we were traveling back from the wedding yesterday, so no MLB video to recap. We also don't have a ride of the day, but let's go ahead and get one in here for today's video, guys. If you don't know what the ride of the day is, it is very, very simple. All you have to use is that hashtag ride of the day or ROTD in the comments. Give me your favorite play on the board, and then I jump on board with whichever comment gets the most likes. Give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. If you win, we continue to ride with your plays until the wheels fall off. If you lose, we do have to talk about it and drop the womp womp on you. But get those hashtag ride of the days in the comments. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get rocking here. We're starting off with Cleveland taking on Minnesota. On the mound for Cleveland's going to be Matthew Boyd going up against Pablo Lopez. Boyd's been very good at home this season here, and very good as of late. He's got a 1.4 ERA in his last 5 starts, 4 straight starts in which he pitched 6 innings plus, with the exclusion of 1, only allowing 1 earned run. So doing a decent job over there. But like I said, at home, very good. 0.63 whip, a FIP of 1.7, batting average against of 167. Pablo Lopez on the road, a little bit more shaky than he is at home, but I still do really like Pablo Lopez. 4 of his last 5 starts, he hasn't even earned a run, and he's been going into the 6th inning, in the 7th inning in nearly all of them. So this is one where I'm going to respect the pitching here. Neither one of these offenses is all that scary or anything like that. So yeah, I'm going to lean towards the first 5 under in this one. Yes, I don't mind the full game under 7.5, but I think getting the first 5 under 4.5 at -120 over on MGM has a little bit more value, because then we can kind of just control what we can control in a sense and eliminate variables of, one, the 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th inning, but also just trust these two pitchers to go out there and start hot throughout the beginning of the game here. Pablo Lopez, 79 plate appearances against this current Guardians roster. He's got an average against of 351, but that drops all the way back down to an expected batting average against of 273 and an xWOBA of 283. So that's pretty good. And then Matthew Boyd here, really, really good numbers. 101 plate appearances against the current guys on this Twins roster. He has a 239 average against, an expected batting average against of 225, and then an xWOBA of 290. So decent numbers there. I trust that these two pitchers can be a little bit better than the offense here. So I'm going to lean towards the first 5 under. I think in terms of where I'd go with a money line play may just be to trust the home team for plus money. I know the graphics is -105, but right now on FanDuel you can get them for plus 100. I'm definitely more sold on the potential of two pitchers pitching well than I am the side, but I guess if I had a gun to my head or something, I would go Cleveland with the plus money there. All right, next up, we have the Mets taking on Washington here. Sean Manaea on the mound going up against Jake Irvin. Manaea being a lefty. Washington actually decent against lefties. If we jump into the dashboard here, you'll see it. Decent against lefties last 30 days. 7th when it comes to average in the league. WRC plus 9th. They're striking out the 5th fewest. And then their OPS, ISO, and slugging all top 10 as well. So there could be a little angle to get to the Nats today for plus money, like some decent plus money. So I'd consider it. It's still a spot in which it's the Nationals, and even if you look at the pitch mix, you're going to see a lot of sinkers and a lot of sliders from Sean Manaea, 2 pitches that Washington doesn't hit all that well. So maybe it's still a shaky spot, but nonetheless, it could be an angle. Like, I think that -185, the price tag for the Mets is a little bit too high. By the way, guys, if you do want access to the dashboard we're looking at here, we build this in Google Sheets and give it out to the channel members every single day, or at least 99% of days. I know we were traveling this weekend. So if you guys do want to check it out, $2.99 per month. I'll have a link in the pinned comment to make it easy to sign up. Yeah, you're going to get this provided, and we're working on an NFL one as well. But yeah, like I said in this one, I think the Mets are a little bit overpriced at -185, plus 170 right now for Washington. It smells like it could be a play here, but again, you're trusting Washington. I don't know how big my cojones are there to go out there and lay some juice with Washington or take them in general. So yeah, I'm just saying I think there's an angle to it, and I don't think the Mets are the play today. Obviously, based on the odds, the Mets are expected to win and win handily, right? But nonetheless, I'm on Washington if I were to make a play in this one. Now the total's sitting at 7.5. I like that even more because that tells me that the Nationals, are expected to be in a low-scoring game here, and 1 run could make all the difference. Now, if this total was up at 9.5 or something like that, I'd say, well, yes, I showed you the lefty versus righty splits, but the Mets are probably still a better offense, so I don't think that the Nationals have the firepower to keep up with it. But at a low scoring, you know, I do like the idea of the Nationals pulling it out, and I guess I would lean slightly towards the under as well, kind of hoping that correlates. But overall, again, it's just I see a path. Don't want you guys getting it twisted thinking that I'm all in on the Nats today. That being said, something that we can all be all in on is a free square over on Underdog. Jalen Hurts, 0.5 total yards for this Monday Night Football game. He can run it. He can pass it. Whichever it is, you cash this free square, guys. Go check out Underdog Fantasy. That link is in the pinned comment. You're going to get up to $1,000 in deposit bonus when depositing today, and you can get this Jalen free square, and they have a bunch of discounted and free squares all of the time. If you don't know what Underdog is, I tell you guys all the time, it's one of the best player prop apps out there. You just have to combine 2 or more player props into a slip, and what I mean by slip, it's almost like their version of a parlay. You pick more or less based on their projection, so in this case, we're going to be pressing 0.5 more than 0.5 yards for Jalen, right? And then the more you win, the more you get paid out. Say you go 4 for 5, you can get paid out. 2 for 2, you're going to 3 extra money, that type of thing. So go ahead and check it out, guys. That link is in the pinned comment for Underdog. It's going to auto-apply the code. You'll get the deposit bonus, and you'll get this Jalen free square. But let's go ahead and jump back into the rest of these games. All right, Atlanta taking on the Los Angeles Angels here. The Dodgers here. Drop a womp for that one. Very different teams. We've seen 2 blowouts in a row here. So Atlanta wins 10-1 a couple games ago, and then obviously yesterday the Dodgers here win by a bunch, 9-2. So this is a spot in which obviously both teams have shown their offensive ability and whatnot. But overall in this spot, I do think the Dodgers have the better offense, the more consistent offense. Yes, Atlanta's offense has shown really good qualities at times, but still, at the end of the day, this has been a team that has won games, 3-2 recently and that type of thing. They're not just blowing teams out, whereas the Dodgers, a little bit more steady here. And I love the fact that Yamamoto's on the mound going up against Max Fried. I think it's a decent matchup. Braves against righties, a little bit of a, mixed bag, I guess, but the Dodgers against the left hand is really, really good. 4th in average in the last 30 days, 2nd in WRC+, 1st in ISO, 1st in slugging. So I like them to get to Fried here. He's had decent numbers against him in the past, but nothing to write home about in 197 plate appearances against this current team, current roster. So definitely if they've seen him, but he's fared okay. I'm not saying the Dodgers are going to go out there and put up 10 on his head, but I do like the matchup. Yamamoto's going to throw a ton of fastballs, which is not exactly the Braves' best pitch either. 22nd in the league last 30 days per 100 fastball scenes in terms of runs above average. We're going to get a lot of curveballs from Fried. The Dodgers hit that well. We're going to get a lot of changeups from Fried. The Dodgers hit that well. Fastballs are kind of middle of the pack. Sinker, they hit well. So the pitch mix here just speaks to the Dodgers offense. And again, you're getting decent odds here for a Dodgers team at -110. Like, I like that spot. The Braves are at home, and it wouldn't shock me if the Braves win. This is obviously a tough game to break down and whatnot, but give me Yamamoto, nailed that name, and the Dodgers to win this one. The total sitting at 7.5. I almost want to lean towards the over. You have 2 really good pitchers on the mound with really good numbers and splits, but overall, like I could see this being a spot in which the Dodgers put up like 4 or 5, and then I don't necessarily think the Braves are going to be that cold as yesterday, so maybe I lean towards the over, but I think I like the Dodgers more than, I guess, the total. All right, next up, Kansas City taking on Detroit. On the mound for Kansas City, looks like it's going to be Seth Lugo going up against Reese Olson. Lugo, obviously, a decent pitcher here in his own right, but he's been a little shaky as of late, more so than he was at the beginning of the year. Do we remember at the beginning of the year when he was just absolutely dealing and consistent as all hell? So I do think that this could be a spot in which he keeps doing what he's been doing, but I just want to at least throw out there that he has been inconsistent. But you can make the argument, last 3 starts really, really good, right? Against Houston, against Cleveland, and against the Yankees. Not exactly the easiest walk in the park, yet he's still going out there and doing it. Like I said, Reese Olson on the mound for Detroit. I've seen a couple other names as well. I believe maybe Casey Mize, but Reese Olson's listed right now, so keep an eye on that. If you are on Detroit, you're going to want to know who's pitching, especially if it matters to you with the listed pitcher and whatnot. But I like Kansas City on the money line here. I don't mind taking a peek at an over for their team total either. I think that they can get to Reese Olson. And this is a Kansas City lineup that, just has not been doing what they were doing, I guess consistently earlier on in the year, but they are at home now. They love playing at home, and they've been on the road for 6 straight games and 2 series in a row. So I think it's a nice little welcome home party for Kansas City to go out there and score some runs. A player prop that I don't mind here, and it kind of, goes against what I'm saying with them scoring some runs, but we'll jump into Outlier. If you guys want access to this tool, it's called Outlier. I have a 7-day free trial in the pinned comment. Go ahead and check it out. It's only $19.99 after that 7 days, so it's even a great value there, but 7 days free. Go check it out. But I like MJ Melendez here under 1.5 bases. Now you're probably thinking, holy crap, this minus 165, that's super juiced. Look at where this is. Yes, minus 165 on Bet365 and BetMGM, but DraftKings minus 180, Caesars minus 189. Even if you price it out in an underdog slip, 220. You know what I mean? So this is obviously a little bit of some value here, which the great thing about this, if you wanted to go ahead and place, you can continue in browser or scan it on your phone. This is literally going to open it up and put it in. Well, that's old. It's going to put it in your bet slip. You don't even have to go digging for it or anything like that. If I was logged in, I could place this so easily. But anyways, what I like about this one is the fact that the dude's been absolutely cold. Look at his last 10-ish games here. Went on a little bit of a streak, but after that, 15 games here, really not doing all that great, only hitting the over in 3 of them. Head-to-head, he went off against Detroit last time we saw them, which was back in August. Love the idea of him even more not doing it 2 games in a row, because you can see he's yet to do that 2 games in a row. On the season, he's at the under 66% of games. At home, drops a little bit. At home against righties, drops a little bit, but still over that 60% hit rate. The thing that I really do end up liking is the fact that Casey Mize, like I said, if he's ends up being the pitcher, Reese Olson or Casey Mize, not sure yet, looks even better. So keep an eye on the pitcher. If it's Reese Olson, I don't think that I roll with this just as much, but if it is Casey Mize, I like the idea of him being able to pitch against left-handed batters really well. So again, MJ Melendez under 1.5 bases. This is going to come down to the pitching though, because if it is Reese Olson, I like the team total for the Royals and even the Royals in the money line. Casey Mize, I think I run to that MJ Melendez play there overall. And again, like the total here would be the team total for the Royals. All right, Milwaukee taking on Philadelphia here. Phillies coming off of 6 games at home, now traveling to Milwaukee. They did win 5 of those 6. They've won 7 of their last 10, so they've looked pretty good. Milwaukee's going to be one of the better teams they've seen recently. Milwaukee's 5-5 in their last 10. They just played the Diamondbacks, and actually, I would say surprisingly, took 2 of 3 in that series. Really high-scoring game in Game 2 and Game 3. They lose 11-10 yesterday, and then the day before, they win 15-8. So if these Milwaukee bats are going and cruising, I get why someone would be on Milwaukee today. But if Ranger Suarez, who I do trust as a pitcher, with a Phillies team that's playing really well now, is Aaron Savale, on the other side pitching, going to be able to go out there and do good Aaron Savale things, or kind of, mixed bag Aaron Savale things? We're not sure. We're seeing that he has 2 games in his last 5 in which he pitched, I want to say it was like 7+ innings, or got into the 7th on both. I know one was 7 full innings, 0 earned runs, right? But then he'll have games where, he pitches 5 innings and lets 3 runs in. And I'm not saying that's a terrible stat line, but against a team like the Phillies, they might make you pay. If those 3 runs are, and I think that was against St. Louis, if those 3 runs were for St. Louis, Philly's probably scoring 4 or 5 in that situation when their offense is cooking. So I don't know if I really want to trust a Aaron Savale in this spot. So I'm going to lean towards the Phillies. I don't think we often get that price at minus 108 for them. For a team that's just kind of red hot right now, and wouldn't even say red hot, just playing consistently. Like I said, they've won 7 of their last 10, but they've won 5 of their last 6. So teams should be cruising. They're on the road, a little bit different. I understand that, but still, Phillies on the money line here. Maybe a first 5 money line because Milwaukee does have a slight bullpen advantage, but we'll cross that bridge when we go to potentially place it. Keep an eye on the pinned comment. Now, the total's sitting at 8. Both teams, like I said, the runs seem to be there for the most part in their last few games here, and this is where I'll give the Brewers credit. If that offense continues to cook like it has last 2 games, I'd be silly to take an under, right? So I'm going to lean towards the over in hopes that the Phillies still score more runs than the Brewers, but we do see some runs in the game. All right, Chicago taking on Oakland here. The Cubs, Shota Imanaga on the mound going up against Joey Estes. I don't think that this is a spot to even really consider Oakland. Now, that price may not make sense for Chicago, so maybe it's a money line type of throw-in or something like that. This Cubs team has won 5 of their last 10 games, so they're kind of split there. But they've played the Yankees and the Dodgers 6 out of those 10. So it's like kind of a tough little gauntlet there, right? And they actually won, I want to say 3 of those 6. So it's like they kind of, if you tell me that the Cubs are going up against the Dodgers and the Yankees and they split that series, like they're on their level, like that's pretty damn good. Oakland not looking all that great. They lose 2 of 3 against Chicago. Houston lose 2 of 3 against. They did win that Detroit series, but overall, this is not a team that's really cooking or anything like that. And again, losing to Chicago in Chicago, now playing the other Chicago team, who's a lot better than that Chicago team. I think the Cubs make sense here. But again, that price is really, really tough. I don't mind the idea of an Athletics team total under. Want to make sure we're getting good odds and a good line here. Right now, you can get their under 3.5 for -140. I wish it was 4.5, right? But with Shota Imanaga on the mound, I really don't mind it. You can look at their first 5 innings team total as well for under 1.5 for -130. Maybe that's a way that we can kind of get to the Cubs side of things without having to pay that -205. Do you know what I mean? Like, odds are, if the Cubs win this game, it's because Shota Imanaga pitched well, the bullpen pitched well, and they kept the A's to under 3.5 runs type of thing. But keep an eye on the pin comp to see what you roll with there. I do like the Cubs, but I just want to make sure we have value. Like, just because they look like they're going to win, we don't want to be paying, Christ, like -205, All right, St. Louis taking on Pittsburgh here. Paul Skeens on the mound for Pittsburgh, going against Andre Palante for the Cardinals. Skeens, obviously the pitching advantage here. I will say his pitch mix seems to be perfect for pitching against St. Louis. He's going to go sinker and fastball as his 2 main pitches. Sinker, 27th for St. Louis. I can even show you here. 27th in terms of runs above average. And then the fastball, they're just kind of middle of the pack, right, in terms of his pitches. Now, what I will say also is it doesn't look all that much better for Pittsburgh. That's why I always worry about, betting on the Pirates when Skeens is pitching, because you have a terrible odds sort of tax you're paying for Skeens. And then that offense still can be lacking, So this is a spot in which I still do think that it's hard to ignore the fact that Paul Skeens is pitching, you know what I mean? So, like, yes, I'm probably still on the Pirates, but maybe I look at like a first 5 under and hope that Skeens goes out there and pitches really, really well. And then the Pirates, I don't think are going to score like 5 runs themselves in the first 5 innings, right? So I think that might be a way, again, kind of what we just did with the Cubs, a way that we can almost back the Pirates without having to pay -135. Because again, like it is truly kind of a spot in which you're paying a lot for Skeens. Like, I know that -135 isn't a lot in terms of just general juice, but overall, like -135 for a Pirates team seems like it is a little bit of a decent price. So decent hefty price. So yeah, I'm gonna lean towards the under 4.5 in the first 5. -145 on DraftKings right now. I actually think it's pretty good value. It looks like other books are sitting right now in the ESPN bet -165, FanDuel -170, MGM -175. So if I can jump on an under 4.5 in the first 5 for -145, we may just do that. Looks like, honestly, looks like a spot because, again, Skeens is on the mound. Now I'm looking at it. The Cardinals have hit the under 8 of their last 10 games for the first 5. So if Skeens can go out there and do his job, I don't think the Pirates score enough to do this themselves. So that's my main play there. Yes, I would lean Pittsburgh money line because of Skeens, but I think that there's a better way of doing it. So yeah, under first 5, kind of the hybrid of both the game side and the total in a sense. By the way, guys, before we do move on to the rest of the games, go ahead and comment 17. You made it 17 minutes into the video. Appreciate the hell out of you guys. Make sure you go check out the Monday Night Football Picks video. That's on the channel as well. That is live now, so go ahead and check that out. But yeah, comment 17 if you made it this far into the vid. All right, Colorado taking on Arizona. This is kind of an interesting one here. We have Antonio Senzaleta. Probably not saying that right. Definitely not. Pitching for the Rockies, going up against Merrill Kelly here for the Diamondbacks. And we actually don't have terrible odds. Senz and Teleta. I'm going to call him Antonio, right? So Tonio's coming back from a 60-day IR here. I don't think he's even pitched this season. He had a couple starts last year. But overall, like, I don't know too much about him. He's been around for a while, but obviously not a predominantly, perennial type pitcher. But overall, neither is Merrill Kelly. So I think that's why we're getting a little bit of a decent number here. Again, -160 for the money line for the Diamondbacks it's -160 alone is a very juicy price. But for them against the Rockies and their offense being red hot in Colorado, seems like, I don't know, it seems a little fishy. So I'm not going to be on the Diamondbacks today in terms of a money line play, even though it's calling my name. But what I don't mind is their team total over. This is a team that's been scoring a lot of runs as of late. They've scored 6 or more runs in 5 of their last 6 games. And I think that might be where we go today. -145 over 5.5 runs for the Diamondbacks. It's a high price tag. It's a high number, excuse me. That's probably the thing that ends up keeping it off the slip. But overall, like, this is a team that's been absolutely crushing it There is a drop-off, though, when you go to scoring 7 runs compared to scoring 6 runs. So six of their last 10, but like I even mentioned, 5 of their last 6, they've scored 6+ runs, but that drops to 4 of their last 10 for 7+. So that 6 number is pretty damn crucial. But that's where I'm going to go here. I could still understand it if someone's like, well, screw it, -160 for them on the money line. I'll send it. I get that. I would put a little caution just in the idea that it is in Colorado. Anything can happen. Kelly can definitely get hit up, that type of thing. So I'm just kind of isolating it just to the Diamondback side of things. And let's see some runs. Now, 6 runs is a lot to ask for. It's probably something that keeps it off the slip, but that's where my head is at right now. And that's kind of how we can, again, kind of hybridize the money line as well as the total here without having to worry about a bunch of different variables. All right, what a gross matchup here. The Angels taking on the White Sox. Angels, I don't know. There's not another team there might not be another team in the last decade that they would be -192 against, but here we are against the Chicago White Sox. This is one that I'm definitely not touching. In fact, if I had to make a play on this when someone has a gun to my head, I'd close my eyes and say, you know what, do what you want to do. Because this is just gross. Reed Dietmer's on the mound, going up against Jonathan Cannon. There's no way I can justify -192 of a price tag for the Angels, but there's also kind of a weird no way I can justify +160 against the Angels for the White Sox. That's probably the side I'm on, but no way in hell am I going to be placing that. But the White Sox are coming off of 2 straight wins. You expect me to expect and think that they're going to score a 3rd straight win? That's crazy. Is the earth or hell freezing over, whatever the saying is? So yeah, I White Sox +160 would be my lean, but man, oh man, this is a play that even when I tell you guys, still kicking around, keep an eye on the pin com, this one I'm saying, no, this is not making the slip. Let me know if you're betting this game, though, in the comments, because you're an absolute psycho. We'll drop the psycho alert alarm, but I love you for it if you are betting this one, because that means you're a real psycho, and you know what? I love the psychos around here. But give me the White Sox on the money line, maybe an under, if anything, but yeah, this is an absolute dog water game. And then it's funny because we roll right into what actually could be a very good game here. We have the Padres taking on Houston. Yu Darvish on the mound going up against Houston's Spencer Spaghetti Arrieta. In terms of what we've seen from these pitchers against one another, well, Arrieta's never seen anybody on this Padres roster. Yu Darvish has tons of experience. 105 plate appearances against the current guys on the roster. And by the way, I tell you guys all the time, but just in case you are new, when I say against the roster, it's against the guys that are on the roster. So someone could have been on another team and faced Yu Darvish, come to Houston. It's counting, okay? 105 plate appearances against. His K rate only at 19, but his average against at 222, which is pretty good. His WOBA at 282, so decent numbers from Yu, which I don't mind them here at home today. Again, it's not exactly a spot in which I'm thrilled with or in love with, but you have 2 good offenses. I just think you have one better pitcher on the other side. Spencer Spaghetti's kind of come back down to earth. He was cruising for a minute, right? And Yu Darvish here, after coming back, he has 2 straight starts of kind of consistent baseball. I mean, he didn't make it very far in that first start, but then the next one he came out, pitched 7 innings, and struck out 5, 2 earned runs. So I'm trusting that he's going to continue to be good against this Houston team here, who has been scoring a lot of runs. So I understand it if you're on the Houston side of things, but if you're going to say they've been scoring a lot of runs, so have the Padres here. 5, 8, and 4 in their last 3 games, coming off of sweeping San Francisco, and now they're at home in San Diego. So yeah, I like the Padres, but this is totally a game in which I could see someone saying, wait a second, +120 for the Houston side of things, I might jump on that. I totally get it if you are on that side. I like the over, though. I think both pitchers are good. One's a little bit better, but I see 2 good offenses here in this spot as well, so I'm going to lean in that direction. But guys, it's going to wrap it up for today's show. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button as well. I have no sappy rants or anything like that to get into. I did want to say I appreciate you guys supporting on the road vids and that type of thing. That really does mean a lot to me, especially when we don't have all the time in the world to make a long form video when we're traveling. So we put out the 10-minute, whatever type picks videos, and I appreciate you guys still support those. So yeah, maybe I was getting on a little bit of a rant, but that is all for me. I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, peace out.